Take it away, Bruce.
Yes, this morning we got to learn something about Leo's college days and how he survived through them. And he was an entrepreneurial individual somewhat during those college days because he not only tried to study, which I'm sure he did a very good job, but he also learned how to make beer better. And he took us through the process of how he did that. But the one thing that could have been stronger, Leo, was your introduction was talking about the pilot. And I was sitting there thinking, well, pilots, of airplanes, or are you a pilot? Or I sort of got disjointed because I'm sitting here looking at from the airplanes. And also I do know what a pilot is, for instance, of bringing ships in from the sea up the river so that they don't get grounded like a certain little container ship in the Suez Canal this last year. So that really didn't count for talking about beer. But you could have done some stronger points and talked about the bridge games and how they got larger and larger in the student union or whatever location it was, and that you developed the idea that, hey, we're going to move it to my parents' basement and we're going to make it a bar, and go and your word pictures of what you did down there and how you did the lighting, the low voltage lighting and everything else, and then taking this workbench and making a bar out of it. You could have developed on that some more and made it even stronger. And then you could have went into a little bit more detail about you had a problem. So you had an engineer in mind of how we're going to make bottles to store the beer in that we make. And you could have went in a little bit more depth there saying, hey, so what we did, we went out and we bought some beer from a local brewery, and then we saved all the bottles. And then we kept reusing them for a number of years for bottling our beer. You could have went into that a little bit more. I really loved your little analogy, your situation at the end where you're cooking hot dogs and then creating this other pan of the sugar water for, firing up the yeast in the bottles after you bottle the beer, and that you made a little tactical error of putting hot dog water in instead. And I'm glad that you figured that out before you bottled all the beer and everything else. So that was a good catch on you guys. I'm glad you weren't drinking too much beer while you were eating your hot dogs. So that's your challenge. And I would just pick, some big points and really go into more depth and, get a stronger intro. With that, back to you, Greg.